This week was pretty big in the world of Google. We got leaks on almost every single Pixel 9 device coming at the August 13th Made by Google event, to the point where Google basically revealed the devices themselves on their official website and YouTube channels. To me, the most exciting reveal we had lately is concrete details on the Pixel 9 Pro Fold, and as someone that's used the first gen Pixel Fold for a majority of the year, the second gen looks really good to say the least. There's a lot of details to go over, so sit back and relax as we discuss everything we know about the Pixel 9 Pro Fold. And of course, if you're not into foldables, don't worry, as we're going to be covering every single Pixel 9 device in deep detail. So if you want to stay in the know, subscribe to the channel as we have a ton of content coming your way. Getting started, guys, let's dive into the Pixel 9 Pro Fold's design, and if I call it the Pixel Fold 2, I apologize, it's just much easier to say, and you know what I mean anyway. That said, this device is certainly the subject of some major leaks and teases, with Google themselves dropping a trailer on July 18th, and a ton of photos were leaked by the Taiwanese NCC, which is effectively their version of the FCC that we have in the US. Now, for Google's official teaser, it was only 30 seconds long, with the actual device getting about 6 seconds at most of screen time. A majority of the video was showing off Gemini and the launch date, but those 6 seconds did confirm a lot of information. The most obvious change is the form factor, as it seems the Pixel Fold 2 is ditching the smaller, passport-like look of the original and embracing a taller, narrower design when closed, similar to the OnePlus Open, meaning the cover screen is getting a nice bump up from 5.8 to 6.4 inches. We also got a good look at the back, confirming the return of the porcelain color with some gold accents, but more importantly, the camera module is completely redesigned. Seems like Google is moving away from their signature camera bar in exchange for a more squarish module tucked away in the top right corner. It looks like a pretty hefty camera bump, so hopefully that means there's some serious camera upgrades. We also got a sneak peek at the inner screen, and thankfully the bezels are noticeably slimmer this time around. This means by extension the selfie camera is no longer integrated into the bezel, also confirmed by the leaked NCC photos, which we will talk about in a minute. I will say, while the inner bezels aren't as tiny as the Z Fold or OnePlus Open, it is still a welcome improvement. So far, I'm pretty happy with what we're seeing design-wise, but let's take a quick look at the rest of the hardware. It's fair to say the Google teaser did give us a glimpse, but the NCC leaks give us a lot more insight into what's changing. We have 12 photos and even some teardowns to take a look at here. First off, we see the obsidian colorway, confirming both the porcelain and obsidian are returning like we had last year, and hopefully we get another limited edition, which, if anyone's listening, I would love to get my hands on one of those, because I basically live for these limited edition devices, so if anyone can pull some strings, I'm here. Anyways, the hinge mechanism looks mostly the same, but at least in these leaked photos, it does appear the phone will be able to open completely flat, which is a big improvement over the original. We also get a clear look at the punch hole selfie camera in the top right corner of the inner display, confirming it is no longer housed within the bezel. It's still unclear if it will be a static cutout or if they'll use under display tech like Samsung does to make it disappear when not in use, and I guess we'll just have to wait and see. Something interesting though is the bezel does seem to be made of that glossy plastic from the first gen Pixel Fold. Personally, I found the material to be quite prone to scratches and damage, especially since the original lacked any bumpers or raised edges like other foldables. I'm hoping Google has at least improved the durability, because almost a year later, the inside bezels of my first gen device look really rough to say the least. Overall, the design looks great and I'm happy with what we see so far. I do think I'll miss that passport form factor on the first gen Pixel Fold, which had a unique look and a spacious inner display perfect for multitasking. However, that form factor was not the most pocket friendly, and it felt a bit wide for one-handed use, although I admit it did have one of the best cover screens on a foldable. On the other hand, the narrower design of the Pixel Fold 2 should be easier to pocket and potentially be better for one-handed use, but we'll have to wait and see for the official release to tell how it feels in the hand. So we covered most of the design changes, but this week had a ton of leaks on the potential specs, including battery and camera upgrades. To be clear, Google hasn't officially confirmed anything yet, so these are just rumors, but it is still worth taking a look. Most recently, battery specs was one of the biggest reveals as of late, as the Taiwanese NCC noted the Pixel Fold 2 will be packing 2 batteries, a smaller one at 1,183 mAh and a larger one at 3,377, for a total size coming in at 4,560 mAh. And the NCC leaks also give us a look at the charging speeds, coming in at 20.25 watts. Now for me, I'm immediately thinking this is a smaller battery compared to the original Pixel Fold that came in at 4727 milliamp hours, and it's actually the smallest battery of the entire Pixel 9 series. Even the base level 9 will reportedly come in at 4780 milliamp hours, and the charging speeds don't seem like they'll be improving considering the Pixel Fold 1 charges at 21 watts. All I have to say is this is going to need some real world testing. In theory, the Tensor G4 plus a new Samsung modem, which we will talk about in a minute, should be more power efficient, so it could balance things out. Or the real answer is the Pixel Fold 2 is much more slimmer, therefore needed to sacrifice battery size. Like I said, we're gonna have to do some real world testing to see how this plays out, but I'm hoping it will be at least on par with the Pixel Fold 1, if not better. Moving on from battery specs, let's talk about what we know about the cameras. Again, Google hasn't officially revealed anything, but a recent report from Android Authority gives us some insight into the Pixel Fold 2's camera setup. It looks like the main camera is sticking with the same Sony IMX787 sensor as the original Pixel Fold and the Pixel 7a. Now, just being honest, I don't think that sensor is bad by any means. It's definitely better than the Z Fold and has done considerably well in blind tests. But for a device that might cost upward of $1,800, I do expect things to be more bleeding edge, if that makes sense. However, it does seem the ultrawide is getting an upgrade, switching from the Sony IMX386 to the Samsung 3LU sensor at 12 megapixels. The telephoto is rumored to be using the same Samsung 3J1 sensor as the Fold 1 with optical image stabilization, and both selfie cameras are rumored to be using the Samsung 3K1 sensor at 10 megapixels, which is also used on the S24 devices. As a whole, it does seem like most of these cameras will be mirroring the original Pixel Fold, with the most notable changes being the ultra-wide and selfie cameras. Now, we do know Google is very capable of maximizing older camera hardware. In my opinion, their computational photography algorithms are best in class, plus their use of machine learning and the Tensor G4 chip should support the AI features to produce great results even with older sensor tech. So personally, I'm not really worried here, although I will stand by the idea that the Pro and 9 Pro Fold should mean it's getting pro level cameras. And that's why I want to take this rumor with a grain of salt for now. I just don't see how Google can give the Fold 2 the Pro name without the hardware to match, so this is something we're definitely going to have to wait and see. Getting into the final aspects of the device here, we're expecting the Pixel Fold 2 will be using the Tensor G4 chip paired with 16 gigs of RAM, which is the first for a Pixel device. Since Google's very focused on their AI efforts, this does make sense, and if I had to guess, it'll be a good way to keep AI features running on device. Now, I've covered the Tensor G4 in depth in a previous video, and I'll put an info card somewhere if you want to check it out. But overall, it's going to be a relatively minor upgrade to the Tensor G3, as it's still going to be developed by Samsung on their latest 4nm process and should be using an updated fan-out wafer-level packaging method for better heat management and potentially longer battery life. We're also expecting a new Samsung 5400 modem, which could mean faster 5G speeds and power efficiency, along with satellite connectivity, which is the bigger upgrade here. Overall, the G4 is shaping up to be a solid upgrade, even if it's not a complete game changer like I'm hoping the redesigned TSMC-made Tensor G5 will be. Before we wrap up, I did want to include a few extra tidbits that didn't quite fit into my previous categories, but are still worth noting. Sadly, depending on your perspective, it looks like the Pixel Fold 2 will not be getting a thermometer like the other Pro devices in the lineup, and it doesn't seem it will be supporting the Qi 2 wireless charging standard, which I'm truly disappointed about. However, it does appear we are getting ultra-wideband support for precise location tracking and maybe some other connection-related features, and as a nice bonus, it is rumored we're getting a whole year of Gemini Advanced. Right now, that gives us access to Gemini 1.5 Pro with a larger context window, the ability to upload files to the Gemini web app to get answers, summaries, and insights. You'll also get 2 terabytes of cloud storage and priority access to new features, plus I assume Google will be adding a lot more value come the August 13th announcement. The 1-year subscription is valued at $240, so if you're someone that actually uses the AI features, I think it's a nice bonus that's bundled in. Otherwise, if you're not an AI enthusiast, then this might not be worth anything to you. Either way, I'll be happy to claim that free trial, so hey, I can't wait. Lastly, I wanted to give a quick note here on the price. Officially, we don't know much, but we did spot a French retailer leak European pricing coming in at around 1900 euros, translating translated to approximately $2,066 US. Of course, this is just speculation and we won't know until the official Google reveal on August 13th, but this does give you time to taper your expectations as it's quite possible we're going to see a price increase. As a whole, I'm pretty optimistic about the Pixel Fold 2. It seems like Google's taking it much more seriously, and although the cameras leave room to be desired, it does seem like a solid upgrade as a whole. I have thoroughly enjoyed my Pixel 1 for the most part. I just didn't like that it was clearly inferior to the mainline series in terms of AI features, which seems to be resolved here, and it might be this is the Pixel Fold we should have had in the first place that should bring some good competition to the foldable market, especially since many have been coming at Samsung for taking things easy, so this does give room for the Pixel Fold to shine. Me personally, I'm excited for the full reveal on August 13th. I will most likely be getting one, so stick around and subscribe for that full review. In the meantime, my friends, I'm getting out of here, but before I do, huge shout out to our channel members on screen right now. We greatly appreciate every one of you supporting our work, and we are more than happy to deliver as much Pixel content as you can handle. With that said, I'm getting out of here. This has been Jordan Floyd with 9to5 Google. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.